Hello everybody, it's Arky Rick here, Arky Homesteader Channel. I'm out here in the woods today, or near a river, and I found some mushrooms. And we call these mushrooms chicken of the woods. And man, I'll tell you what, they are tasty, and I just came across an old log that has a whole bunch of them. So I'm gonna show you how to cut them and save them, and then once I get home I'll show you how to cook them, and I'll show you how to store them up. You can dry them, you can also freeze them. So stand by, here we go. Alright, there they are. Look at that. I'll bet that bunch right there weighs 10 pounds. And like I say, we call those chicken of the woods. And they pretty much identify themselves with their coloring, but we'll discuss further how you can identify them. Here's where I took some off the other day. I probably took a little more than I should have. I leaned against it and broke it. You want to leave some of the mushroom on the log so it'll come back again. Look at that one. Isn't that a beautiful thing? But we're going to go ahead and cut them. They're just perfect right now. They're real tender and moist. And they're all over this log. There's a little one down there, and there's some more. So, anyway, what I do is I take and cut them right about 2 inches from the ends. And then, let me find my knife. Hang on a second. Should have brought a tripod. But we'll take them and cut them right about there. We'll save that piece. Look at it, looks like chicken. Tastes like chicken even. Towards the back it gets a little tougher. So we're going to leave some of that on there, and that way it'll keep growing and coming back every year. Look, they're all the way down there by the water's edge. So let's see if I can steady this up while you watch. We'll just take that 2-3 inches on the outside edge there. That'll be nice and tender. And that's what it looks like after I cut it. Here's what I cut off. I got a bag I'm going to put them in. There's a couple down here. It's just growing all over this old dead oak log. They love to attach themselves. They grow and they feed on the log, and it produces this beautiful mushroom. So I'm going to finish cutting that and put it in my bag, and I'll get back to you here in a little while after I get home with them. Here's what I got. I'll bet there's about 10 pounds there. And that's what I left to grow. You can see where I cut them. I took about the 2 or 3 inches off the edges. That's the most tender part, the best edible. And then I'll leave all that there and it'll grow back. And we'll get some more here maybe next year. Hey everybody, here we are. These are the chicken of the woods mushrooms. And that's the top side of them. These are the ones that I cut out in the forest. And I'm going to wash them down. And then I'm going to cut them up into pieces. And then I'm going to vacuum pack them and freeze them. Now you can dry these also in a dehydrator. And that's another way of storing them. I'll show you that in a little bit. But right now we're just going to wash them up right now and get them clean. You want to clean them really good because they get some dirt on them. Get all that dirt off of them. They relatively come out pretty clean considering. Look how pretty that is. And I separate the layers and make sure there's no dirt on them. And I'll do this through this whole batch. And then once I get them clean, I'll cut them up. Really not that hard to clean. There's really not all that much dirt on them. I've probably got 9 or 10 pounds that I got. I was just blown away when I seen them. I'd seen pictures of them before and never had actually came across them. And I was looking at some trees for my sawmill and I came across them. And the homeowner told me, say, hey, pick all you want. So I went back and picked them all. But you want to be careful about them. They don't really look much like anything else, so it's kind of hard to mix them up with some of the other species of mushrooms that are poisonous. One of them I've been told that they look like, the coloring looks like a jack-o'-lantern mushroom, which is poisonous. And so you don't want to confuse them with that, but jack-o'-lanterns don't really grow on the side of an old rotten oak like these did. And so, you know, it'd be really hard to confuse them, I think. But nevertheless, you want to be sure in mushrooms, you want to identify them properly before you eat them because you can get real sick. And you don't want that to happen. Alright, Jeannie's cutting them up. We're going to cut them up into 1/4-inch slices, and she's kind of picking through them. She sees one she doesn't like. She throws it to the side, but most of them are pretty good. I should have done this the day I did it. I actually couldn't get to it for 2 days, so I kept them in the refrigerator. And most of them are pretty good. Some of them are getting a little soft, but not bad. And just cut that funny spot off and cut them up. Yeah, just get rid of that. Here. Anyway, we're going to cut them down into pieces like this, and then I'll wash them one more time in cold water. These haven't been done yet. And then I'm going to vacuum pack them in vacuum bags, little baggies like. And I have a little handheld vacuum pump, and you put them over the bags and it sucks them real good, and then we put them in the freezer. So we'll show you how to do that here in a moment. Jeannie's almost finished cutting them up. And here's what we're ending up with. And as soon as she gets those done, I'm going to put them in boiling water and blanch them for 2 minutes. So we're heating up the water here, and as soon as it gets boiling, I'll dump that in there and let them soak in it for about 2 minutes. And then from there, we'll go ahead and immediately pack them and let them cool down a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and freeze them. All right, the water's boiling. I'm going to start putting the mushrooms in there for 2 minutes. We'll blanch them. That'll get kind of not freeze dry them, but it gets them to, any bacteria, anything, it kind of stops it. And I'll probably have to do this twice. I don't know. See how much we got here. But we'll go ahead and put them in. And then start the timer for 2 minutes. And we'll go ahead and let them kind of cook a little bit. After 2 minutes, I'll take them out, run them under cold water to stop them from cooking. And then I'll pack them into the vacuum bags, and I'll vacuum pack them. And then I'll let the temperature kind of get down to room temperature on them so they're not too hot. And then I'll stick them in the freezer. And then as I need them, I can take them out and open the bags up and go ahead and use them that way. Now, you can also freeze dry these. I freeze dried these the other day in my dehydrator. And I've got them in jars right now. I actually wanted to pack them in baggies, vacuum baggies. But when I did, the bag sucked up real tight against the stuff, and there's some sharp edges on these dried ones, and it poked holes in the baggies. So I'm going to have to figure out a different way to do that. Right there is some dehydrated ones that I'm soaking in water, and they're kind of reconstituting. And I'm going to fry them up and eat them this evening. And we'll get them all packed up. I think I've got about 10 pounds worth of mushrooms. So I'm going to have lots of mushrooms. All right, 2 minutes has passed. And we're going to go ahead and get these out of the hot water. And I'm going to put them over here in the sink. And I'm going to run cold water on them. And cool them down. Sorry about the shaky video. I'm trying to do this by myself. Jeannie had to go outside. She's feeding the animals. So we can't photograph each other right now. But I'm going to cool them down real good. Let the water get hot. And I got one more batch to do. And this is the same way you do green beans or anything, any vegetables that you're going to freeze. You boil them, that's called blanching, for 2-3 minutes. And then you cool them down. And then once you get them that way, you can pack them and you can freeze them. But that'll help cool them down. All right, let that water get hot again. All right, we're going to put them in the freezer bags now and vacuum seal them. We got this little portable handheld vacuum. And I try to put no more than I'd eat at one time, or I guess you could take them out and just what you needed. Boy, they smell good. Jeannie doesn't like mushrooms, but boy, I sure do. And then you take and seal it. And then you put this little doohickey on it. It sucks all the air out. ready for the freezer. I'll let it cool down a little bit. They're still a little warm. I tried vacuum packing the dehydrated ones, and when these are dry, some of these ends get kind of sharp. And what happened was they poked through the bags. And the next day when I checked them, they were all inflated again. They got air in them. So I just don't think it's possible to do the dehydrated ones in this way.
They're better in a jar.
So we're going to start packing them in jars, but we're going to try them both ways, see which way they work out, you know, the best. But you can take the dehydrated ones and soak them in water for 5 or 10 minutes, and it reconstitutes them, and they're just like the way they were when, you know, they were fresh. Make sure that's sealed good. What happened to that bowl? Yeah. You can't let water get up into the pump. All right.
Some of these aren't sharp on the ends and all, but yet.
Well, when they're dry, they're sharp.
But when you put them in the baggie, they were kind of crackling and breaking, and
yeah, they're much harder after you dry them.
That's why
they're real soft this way.
In the jar would work better.
There are attachments that you can get that you can vacuum pack a jar. I just don't have one. I'm going to have to get one so I can do it, because we do put a lot of things up and we're starting to dehydrate things. Okay. Yeah, it says to empty the water out of that. You only can go so high in that little shot glass, and you have to stop, because if the water gets in the pump, it won't. It'll make it not work. Looks like I'm going to get about 3 more bags. Oh man, these smell so good. I love the smell of mushrooms. And once you heat them up, they tend to smell even more. Now, most people can eat these. They are not poisonous, but some people do have reactions to them, I've heard. So I would suggest that if you do this, eat just a few the first time to see how you react. If you don't get a stomach ache or diarrhea or anything, you should be okay. But it's just like anything. Some people are allergic to peanut butter and some people are not. You know, so you always want to be careful, especially if you've never eaten this before. They're called chicken of the woods. They have a botanical name, which I can't think of right at the moment. But look them up under chicken of the woods. There's lots of videos on how to identify them. They're very easy to identify by the color. They usually are growing on the sides of old rotten oak logs. You seem to prefer that. And that's where I found these. And they're just really easy to identify, but you want to be careful. Make sure you got the right thing. You don't want to get something that's poisonous. So always do a little bit of research first. I am by no means an expert, but I do know how to identify this particular mushroom. There's a few others I know how, like shiitake and turkey tails. but there's a lot of them that I really don't know how to identify yet. So I'm learning. I got me a book, and I watch lots of videos on YouTube about it. And there's plenty of people on YouTube that really know how to identify. I suggest, if you're really uncertain, to get somebody that is familiar with mushrooming, hunting, and take them along with you and have them teach you a little bit on how to identify it. But like I said, I got about 10 pounds in just one haul on this. And that is a lot of mushrooms. Can you imagine what it would cost you in the store for these? I think somebody told me they're like $4 a pound. I've never seen them in the store. Usually you see other varieties, but I've never seen this variety in the store. This little food saver vacuum sealer, it was like 17 bucks. And then you can get you can get the bags. And they even got little containers that plastic containers that have the seal on the top, like this. And you can get those and seal them and put them in the refrigerator and stuff. But that's about it. That's about all I can think of. I'm going to cook some here, and I'll show you how I cook them. And then that'll be about it on the chicken of the woods mushrooms. Thanks a lot. All right, I've reconstituted. These are some that I dried the other day, and I soaked them in water for, I don't know, 10 minutes. And then, boy, they come soft as back, just like they were fresh. And I melt a little butter in a frying pan and mix them up. I'm going to fry them up a little bit in this pan. And, you can put salt and pepper on them. I suppose you could add onions to it if you wanted. But I just like eating them just like this, right out of the pan. I did take some this morning and I mixed them in an omelet. And those came out really good. I fried the mushrooms a little bit, got them cooked. And then I added my eggs and my cheese and I made an omelet. And man, it was good. So I can't recommend them highly enough to you. This is what we got. I've got a few more already in the freezer. And I'm letting them get down to room temperature, which they almost are. And then I'm going to put them in the freezer. And we appreciate you watching. If you like videos like this, please like and subscribe. We're signing out.